afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Douglas County Chamber's Greystone Power Luncheon, sponsored today by the American Red Cross. I am Matt Barrington. I'm your 2014 chairman of the board, and I also happen to work for Regions Bank. Before we give thanks for today's great lunch, I'd like to say a special thank you to Sam and Roscoe's for catering. Thank you, Roscoe. And without further ado, I'd like to ask Greg Whitaker with the 911 Center to come up and lead us in the invocation and pledge.
Thank you, sir. That was really good food. Thank you so much. We're going to go to the Lord in prayer, and then after which we're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Father in heaven, thank you so much for this day. Lord, thank you for our health. Thank you for everything you've given us, Lord, and always remind us what we have to be thankful for when we think we want more, Lord, from what we really need, from what we want, Father. Lord, so many public officials and community officials here in this room today, Lord, I just ask that you place your blessings on them and their families. Give them, Father, just protection of your angels as no one else in the universe can do, Lord. Father, I especially want to ask for your protection on our public safety people in here today, Lord. It seems like, Lord, in life there's one crisis after another that we have to deal with, and we get over one, and then there's another one to look at, Lord, but you'll give us everything we need to get through it. And Lord, I just ask for your special blessings and protections for our public safety responders as they respond in the future, Lord, not only this week, but next week and into the future, Lord. Just give them your protective armor. Lord, as we go forth throughout this day, just forgive us where we fail you, Lord, and we ask for your blessings and your mercy, Lord. And Lord, just be with us in everything we say and do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, at this time I want to invite Mario Sedlock, Director of Donor Services with the American Red Cross, to come forward and tell us what's going on with the Red Cross in Douglas County.
Thank you. Hi, good afternoon. I want to begin first of all by saying what a pleasure it is for American Red Cross to be here and to be sponsoring the Heroes Luncheon today. And I just want to give our thanks to all of the first responders that are in the room today and for the great public service that you provide to the community. And I was in church the other day, and the subject was adversity. And the question isn't whether adversity is going to come. The question is really when adversity is going to come. And I'm just so thankful for the work that's done by our police departments, our firemen, and all of the other public officials to help to deal with adversity when it does strike. And we're just glad and proud to be part of the Red Cross that also helps to contribute to that in any way that we can when adversity strikes. And I'm part of the American Red Cross Biomedical Services. In addition to the biomedical services, the Red Cross also has its chapter side, which deals with disaster relief, also deals with health and safety training, and also deals with providing services for the military abroad. And again, we are thankful to be here today. But for those of you that may not be familiar with the Red Cross and our facility in Douglasville, I wanted to just say a few things about that to bring you up to speed on that. We are located down on Riverside Drive, and we have a 180,000 square foot blood processing facility that also serves as the headquarters for the southern region of the American Red Cross. And in addition to that, we also have approximately 800 employees that work within the southern region. And over the past year, in addition to being headquarters for the southern region, we've also taken the responsibility for our region in Alabama and also Puerto Rico operations as well. And there's been a lot of change within the Red Cross over the past year, and I'll share that in just a second. But I also wanted to just remind everybody here about the need for blood and the need for platelets and the services that we provide as an organization. From our facility, we serve approximately 140 hospitals throughout the state of Georgia and collect on an annual basis just under 250,000 units of blood that is collected in donor centers, such as we have here in Metro Atlanta and throughout the state, as well as blood drive operations. In addition to that 250,000 whole blood units that we collect, we also have a demand for 31,000 platelet products as well. And that is distributed, again, to the 140 plus hospitals that we serve. But the message that I have today really is the same message we've had for a number of years, and it will continue to be for some time, and that is we do not collect enough blood in our region, in the state of Georgia, to supply the state of Georgia. And so in addition to what we collect, we are also counting on other Red Cross regions from across the country to help support the inordinate demand that we have for blood from our hospitals. On an annual basis, we will have to bring into our state an additional 50 to 60,000 units of blood to help meet that need, as well as an additional 10,000 platelets. And if you have more questions about platelets, and Alice Perry is here, she's our director of our fixed sites, and could answer this question for you, but it is true that we have a demand for blood and a need for help in that regard. And we're just fortunate that other Red Cross regions from across the country are able to assist us to meet that demand. And so now that I've bored you with a bunch of statistics and data, I want to remind everybody that the numbers will tell us volume and those types of things, but it doesn't tell us about people. And that's really what we're all about. It's people helping people with the American Red Cross, whether it's with the biomedical services through donating blood or platelets. It's also people helping people through the chapters as well. And we're a volunteer organization that depends on thousands of volunteers literally every day, and thousands of countless hours that are spent by volunteers, whether it's donating blood, donating platelets, or volunteering at a blood drive operation, or traveling across the country to participate as a volunteer in a disaster that's taken place. And so we could not do our work without the volunteers that serve the American Red Cross. So if you're interested in being a volunteer, by the way, we have our volunteer manager as well, Diamond Lassane, and she's always looking for new people to help to meet the need that she has. But our mission is quite clear. We're here to save lives, and that's what we look at every day. And our success or failure is not whether or not we meet a certain number. That may be a number that helps us to understand how successful we may have been from a numeric standpoint, but our true measure of success is whether or not we've met the needs that a hospital has for a patient when they needed that blood or their plasma or the platelets to help save their lives. And in addition, to meeting these needs, the Red Cross also is not immune to the typical challenges that most businesses face. And I wanted to speak a little bit about that, and just for a second, about the challenges that we face also as an organization and as a business. This past year, we've gone through significant change within the American Red Cross. We've called that endeavor re-engineering. Many would call it reorganization, but we've gone through some serious changes to help us to be prepared for the future. And it was quite honestly, it was needed because trends in blood banking are changing. This past year, there was a 7% decline in blood collections across the country. And that is on top of 3 prior years of decline from blood donors. And so as the needs that I expressed to you are ever more important in the challenges of meeting those. But to help to meet the changing landscapes that we have in our business, we've had to re-engineer and look at how we do business and how we can be more efficient and how we can be more productive so that we can meet the needs of our communities going forward. And so a lot of that had to deal with consolidation of operations, looking at how we could be more lean in how we operate. Cost cutting is an important issue for us, and it continues to be. And our goal is to be able to always be in position to provide a very safe, reliable, and cost-effective blood supply to our community. And so in a effort to do that, we've had to take some organizational change. And a lot of things have changed also, and there may have been some duplicity in some of the back office functions, and those are the types of things that we all deal with on a regular basis within our businesses. But the most significant change for the Douglasville group is we've gone from being 36 separate blood services regions to being 19 leadership teams. And so what that means is that each 36 of the regions had their own leadership team. For example, somebody that did what I did, and somebody did what Anna does, and our CEO, Jerry Tillery, who was a CEO in every one of those regions as well. And during the reengineering process, we have shifted to 19 leadership teams. And so the reason why we no longer just see to the needs of Georgia is because our leadership team has an expanded role now to oversee operations in Alabama, as well as oversee operations in Puerto Rico as well. And so it's a major shift, but the mission lives on, and we continue to count on your help every day to do that. Our leadership team, by the way, is headquartered still here in Douglasville, and so we're very happy to still be having that expanded role because it just means that we'll be able to touch more lives. But again, the objective in the end is for us to be a cost-effective and reliable supplier of blood to those 140 hospitals that we serve. And now the final thing I did want to mention about the Red Cross, and just give you a perspective to consider that maybe you've never considered before. And that is the fact that the Chamber takes on a lot of responsibilities and takes on a lot of projects to help to improve the community. And a lot of times we think about travel, transportation, and the quality of life issues such as our schools that impact people moving to our area and wanting to live in our communities. And I look at a reliable blood supply in the same fashion. And I would ask that you would maybe take a second and take that perspective and realize that our ability as the American Red Cross to succeed takes your help. And the quality of life in our communities is driven by our health care and the health care that we can provide. So I would ask you to, as you think about ways in which you might be able to help participate in our life-saving mission, that you would just take a second again to just understand that anything we can do to improve the lives of our citizens, such as making sure that there's blood when they show up at a hospital, is going to improve the quality of life in our communities as well. And we know that we're only one snowstorm or ice storm away from a real disaster. And I think it's still close to our memories about what happened last year. And it's amazing how the entire city and even our facility was impacted and was forced to shut down. And I just wanted to say that when that happened, we had a real challenge bringing in the blood that we were able to process, and in addition to operations that were canceled. And I spent the night in Douglasville. I spent 7 hours driving in a 1 mile circle, I think, trying to find my way out of here. But those challenges do occur, and I think those are the types of things that as we think about how do we make our communities better, how do we respond better in times of need, I think those are the things we're thinking about as well, how when the next time that occurs, we might be able to meet that need as well. So on behalf of the American Red Cross, I would just like to say thank you for allowing us to be here today and sponsor the luncheon and to hopefully make a difference alongside of you in our community. So thank you.
Thank you, Mario, and thank you, American Red Cross, for your support in making today's luncheon possible. Okay, we are very happy to have the opportunity to have our local public safety officials today and the great job that they do each and every year throughout the year. And as Mario mentioned about the ice storms last year, or whether it's the few years ago with the floods, or in your general answering of the call of duty, we are grateful for the individuals and the ones that take action and help get people home safely. And today we have the fire department, sheriff's department, 911, and police department representatives here today, and we want to give each of them a few minutes to recognize their teams. And we'll start with Chief Chris Womack, and if he'll come forward and recognize the individuals representing the Douglas Police Department and tell us a little bit about it.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. First, I want to thank everybody that helped put this together. I know an event of this magnitude doesn't just happen overnight, and it took a lot of people working together to be able to sit down and let us enjoy this fellowship and this fine food. I want to thank all of our elected officials that are up here today supporting us as well. I want to start out by saying I am so thankful that God is great to me every day. And I'm thankful to be serving in my hometown, Douglasville, Georgia, which I'm very proud of. And beyond that, I'm thankful for the relationship that all of our public service teams have together, working together, whether it's our brothers over at the SO under the leadership of Sheriff Miller, who I know is just one phone call away from me anytime I need a little guidance or we've got something going on where we have to work together. Good buddy Scott Spencer, Chief Spencer with the fire department back there, Greg Whitaker, 911. And Jason Mulholland, who, with events of last winter, we got to know each other a lot better because we got to spend some quality time together down there learning about snowstorms. But anytime I can get a chance to brag on the folks that serve our community, it's just a blessing for me because I am so proud of the team of public servants that I'm surrounded by who help keep me in line, who help keep the team focused, and help guide us with a direction to make sure that we're providing hopefully a level of customer service to our community that exceeds your expectations. First off, I want to recognize Major Greg Graff with us today, Major of Operations, Captain Zach Artis, our staff attorney, Captain J.R. Davidson's back there somewhere. Probably the hardest worker at the police department, Captain Sue-Ann Shaw. My friend, my confidant, who I know I can trust him with absolutely anything that I have, my Deputy Chief Gary Sparks. I've also joining us at the table today. First, I'm going to talk about one of the gentlemen that wasn't able to be here with us today, our Officer of the Year, Detective Gil Guthrie. This man was selected to represent the Officer of the Year by his peers, and I think that says a statement within itself. It's not somebody the command staff thought who deserved it. It's who his teammates at the police department knew had earned it by the job they provide and the service they provide every day. For those of you that don't know Gil, he's much of a man. He looks like a fire plug. He stays in the gym. He's stronger than death. He is one of our founding members of our SWAT team going back to 1997. Probably for better than, I'm going to say 12, 13 years, he served as our shield man. That means this gentleman was the first one in that fatal funnel. And unfortunately, we've put him into situations on more than one occasion, whether it was either going to be one of us or them. And thankfully, when we went in there, it was them. So I can't brag enough about Gil Guthrie. He comes to work every day with a positive attitude. He's a can-do, and he's always saying, you know, Chief, just let me know what we can do to make us better. Next, I'm going to talk about my Civilian Employee of the Year is Mr. Kevin Castle. He oversees all the operations of the building. Yes, thank you, Douglasville, for providing us a state-of-the-art facility. And I'm going to say it one more time. You've heard me say it before. We went from the outhouse to the penthouse. And I'm so proud. I encourage the community to come by and see it today. We're still proud of it. We keep that place in tip-top shape because, in large part, because this man right here, Mr. Kevin Castle, he asked that I not call him up. He's a man of few words. He's a man of action. He's a one-time employee. You tell him once, you never have to look back. He's going to take care of it. He works great with our entire team, and I couldn't be more proud that he was named once again by everybody at the police department as our Civilian Employee of the Year. Now, this next year, I'm going to go ahead and let him come up. Chris, the Machine Bender. And I am going to put him on the spot and ask him to say a few words because we stole this guy from APD. He had some history down there, worked on their Red Dog Squad. One of the more, even going back to my time in the Marine Corps, one of the most motivational men I've ever had working beside me is this gentleman right here. He can get you fired up. On the days that you don't feel like going, he can get you up, he can pick you up, kick you in the tail if that's what you needed, and make sure we get out there and do what needs to be done to make sure that our people are fit to fight. He started, one of the programs he started is Bender Boot Camp. And we have a state-of-the-art gym. We really push fitness at the police department. I'm of the belief if you step out of that police car and you're highly trained, you're physically fit, and your uniform is pressed and creased, a bad guy will try you a lot less often than if you step out and you don't look like you're squared away, you're not fit to fight. They're probably gonna say, yeah, I'll try you. So I give a lot of credit to this man for the work he's done with all of our employees. He's got some folks that we didn't have in the gym before in there, and I'm gonna put him on the spot and let him say a few words. This is our Supervisor of the Year, Sergeant Chris Bender.
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate that. It's an honor. We don't do what we do to get recognized, but it is an honor to get recognition. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. People tell me all the time that, I couldn't do what you do, but I couldn't imagine doing anything else. It's also very motivating for me working under a leadership that actually has support, community that has support, and it's nice working in a community where I'm raising my kids. I want to thank everybody. We all do this together, and the chief is great. They say our building's awesome, but I ding it up a lot with my kettlebells and my weights and my bags, and Kevin's got my back on that. I appreciate you, Kevin. Anytime I mess something up, I run to him and say, please help me out before the chief sees it. And thank you, Chief, for always hearing my crazy tattoo requests. I appreciate that. But all in all, I'm very blessed and very proud to be a part of this community, and I want to thank everybody. And I plan on giving 110 again this year. Stay motivated, stay positive. Thank y'all.
We've got a lot of positive things going on that I'm going to mention just a couple of quick programs. First and foremost, I'm going to talk about the Deputy Chief's Baby, the Youth Against Violence program, where we partnered with the Sheriff's Department. Every Saturday, probably somewhere in the area of 46 or 48 Saturdays out of 52 of the year, Gary Sparks is working on Saturday to help lead and mentor kids through the Youth Against Violence program, and he has made a tremendous impact. It's not a week goes by that we don't have APD comes out here now is trying to model our program. We get calls when we go to our conferences. We get calls and contacts from all over the United States now that's heard about our Youth Against Violence program. Really proud of that, and it has made a difference. I think, I failed to mention about our partnership. We do have another partner I just made eye contact with, Dr. Gordon Pritz, and the relationship we have with our superintendent and all of our principals. It's a family out here, and I appreciate that too, Dr. Pritz. We're also have a new initiative called the DCOP program, where the command staff, about 10 or 12 of us, we go out and we will saturate an apartment complex or a neighborhood one night, and we have informative numbers, we have crime statistics for their neighborhood, and we knock and talk. We see what's on their heart, what's on their mind. We leave our personal contact numbers with them. It's just a way to let them know, hey, we're here for you. Not when you needing us or calling us, but we're here for you tonight. We want to help you, and we want Douglasville to be a place we all can be proud of. And that we've gotten a lot of positive recognition back from our DCOP. We have our Citizens Police Academy that I would encourage if any of you that's got time, please contact Lieutenant Brad Stafford. We offer a gun clinic a couple nights a month, every other Thursday, where we can put you in the classroom, talk to you about gun safety, and then get you some time on the range. I'm a proponent of gun ownership. I think the good guys need to have guns, because if we take them away from the good guys, I assure you the bad guys will still be fighting them, and they will have them. But I'm also a proponent of making sure that if you own a handgun, you're properly trained with it, and you have all the safety measures in place to protect your family and keep yourself safe. Douglasville, thank y'all. Douglas County, thank y'all. I couldn't be more proud to be in the position. I know I saw Miss Stone walk in. I don't know if Mr. Stone made it in today. And those of y'all that saw me grow up here, I know some of you are sitting back there scratching your head saying, holy smokes, Womack's up there talking as the chief of police. But I'm blessed and honored to be able to serve you in this capacity, and thank y'all.
Thank you, Chief Womack. Kind of a segue, Jason Milholland didn't know that he was going to be asked to speak, so if he wants to come up here and speak, he can come here to speak. But we would just want to say, as Director of Emergency Services, Emergency Management Services, that you're welcome to come up and speak, and we appreciate everything you do. Or you can decline. It doesn't. You're coming up. Get on. Come on up.
No pressure.
Get on up here. And Kelly made me put you on the spot.
Sorry, Kelly's.
That's okay. Like I said, I'm Jason Mill, I'm Emergency Management Director for Douglas County. A lot of times we're behind the scenes. That's where I kind of like to be. I'm not real big on getting out front. It's difficult for me to speak in front of large groups of people, but I'm getting better at it because of this position's put me into more and more having to do that. But it's not my natural tendency. But a lot of times people will get talking about, like, when we have a big event, how many hours certain people work and everything. But you know, I was telling them the other day, the people that really need to real the credit. I'm in a warm building. I'm answering calls. We're busy. We're staying in it. But the first responders at the Sheriff's Office, Police Department, Fire Department, the ones that are answering the calls for 15, 16, 17 hours in a row, they're working themselves to death out there in the weather. And that's who I want to get up here and recognize. Those folks that, you know, they may not really where they get a whole lot of attention and everything, but without them, none of us at different levels will look good. None of us can do our jobs without them out there. And that's who really needs the credit in these events. Not only that, the citizens who step up and come up, and people during like the astroms that open their houses to total strangers, bringing them in. It's a whole community approach, and that's the kind of folks I want to recognize, because this is a team effort from the citizens all the way up to the top elected officials. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jason, for coming up here. All right, now we're on to Sheriff Miller. Would you please come up and represent Douglas County Sheriff's Department?
Good afternoon. I am, as I get older, I'm more confused about what the definition of hero means. And what I mean by that is, well, somebody said if you're on this earth, the person that is responsible for you being on this earth is a hero. Well, I don't know about that, but I guess that it would include your mom and dad. And my mom and dad certainly were my heroes, and I'm sure your mom and dad certainly was yours. And then again, there's some people that are walking on the face of this earth are doing it because it's against the law to kill them. So, yeah. But that's it. Sorry, Harvey. But, you know, that's the truth. And I'm not running for office anymore, so I can say so. But some people say that a doctor that saves your life, and I certainly had that happen to me a couple of years ago, he might be your hero. Jenny Craig might be your hero if you lose 20 pounds and you can button your coat on. So that term is used, my point in all this is that term is used very loosely nowadays. But the term hero that I want to use today is a person that risks their own life for someone else's life. And that's the people that, that in my mind, need to be recognized. And on March the 13th of this year, tractor trailers were traveling down I-20 East, and they crashed. And there was a driver of a truck trapped in the tractor trailer, and the steering wheel pressed his chest, and his feet were trapped at the gas pedals or the brake pedals of the truck. And the truck caught on fire, the cab caught on fire, and 3 of my deputies, along with a lot of other citizens, by the way, who got out of their cars with the little fire extinguishers, and they sprayed them on the fire and tried to no avail to put out the fire. But these guys, along with some great citizens, risk their own life. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation like that. I have, but it's hard to walk up to a burning automobile to get somebody out. The flames are hot, and you don't know if it's going to explode. So there's a lot of things going through your mind. But these guys, they get inside the truck, and the heat was so intense. Probably the fire inside the cab is what allowed them to finally, after no avail, to bend that steering wheel out of the way, and they finally pulled the driver free. But when they pulled him free, he was in a truck and he fell down, and his feet and his ankles are caught in those brakes. And of course the fire's going on, and the fire's so intense that it burns this man's clothes off, burns his pants off his body. And while the fire's going on, they intentionally work, and they finally get this guy free and pull him to safety and over on the other side of the guardrail. And the EMTs, who, by the way, we call them ditch doctors, but they're our friends, and there's nobody that you'd rather see on a scene like that come to your aid than the Douglas County EMTs and the fire department. But they arrived, and they gave aid to that man, and they put out the fire in the truck, and they did an awesome job. But the three people that I want to recognize today, if you would join me in bringing them up, is Deputy Derek Good, Deputy John Paulk, and Investigator Kevin Jones. Say anything? This is unrehearsed too. Anybody want to say anything? Probably not. Well, these guys, they not only this time, there's other times that I could talk to you about where they have gone way beyond the call of duty, and I'm proud of you, and I'm proud to be associated with you, and I'm proud that you work for the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. And Douglas County is proud that you work at Douglas County and serve them every day. I just wanted you to know that. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff Miller. We'll move on. Chief Spencer with the Douglas County Fire Department and EMS, will you come up and recognize those individuals representing you today?
Okay, so before I get started, yeah, I know you can only put so much lipstick on a pig, right? so anyway, when we were called and asked to make some recommendations on people we'd like to honor today, I sent an email back to Colleen and said, look, I want to recognize my whole department. Back last year when we had the winter storms, I can't single out a single person. It truly was a team effort. But at the table back there, I want to recognize some of those folks because they actually made everything work that needed to work. You'll see a couple of ladies back there that work in the office, so they don't have all the cool gear and go out on the calls and all that. But during the winter storm, they stayed at the office. They made sure we had what we needed to do our job. So Michelle Mahaney, she's my administrative assistant. Courtney Eubanks, she's our EMS billing lady who takes care of all our EMS billing. Steve Pates, our chief arson investigator. Britt Wortham is one of our division chiefs. Daniel Norris is one of our training officers. And then Blake Ayers is one of our sergeants. After the winter storms, after he got off duty, after working his 24-hour shift with us, he went home, got his own personal vehicle, and went out and started pulling people out of ditches and helping folks that way. So for pretty much anybody in public safety, they'll tell you that what we do, it's not a job, it's truly a calling, and that's the kind of dedication that the folks have. I'm truly honored and blessed to be able to represent our department, and I just want to thank not only the Sheriff's Department, PD, 911, and Jason Milholland. But I want to thank our citizens too, because they did an awesome job during the ice storms last year. We learned a lot, and we found that we've got people in this community that if we don't call them, they'll call us and offer up services. So I just appreciate living in a community that has that kind of attitude. So with that, I'm going to go sit down.
Thank you, Chief Spencer. Finally, we'll have Greg Whitaker come up and recognize those individuals representing the 911 Center.
Thank you again. I'd like to thank the Chamber, Greystone Power, the Red Cross, everyone. San Roscoe's, what good food. Thank you for having us up here and making us part of this. I hate to go last, not only because I have to follow certain acts, but because if you make a mistake, everybody will remember it for the rest of the day. I'd like to just, as Gary Sparks one time said in a meeting, it's all been said, so it's hard to reiterate everything that's been said earlier, but I want to reiterate it anyway. It's a group effort, it's a community effort. We have so many public safety people in this room that give it their all, the public officials that give it their all, and the volunteers. I can't say enough about it's been said a couple of times, the people that stood out in that snowstorm. Out on the road for over 12 hours each day, picking up dispatchers and bringing them in. I couldn't have done it without our volunteers that showed up to not ask for fuel money, to help out. I saw deputies out, I saw police officers out, firefighters, paramedics, I saw citizens out just doing things of just kindness, kind acts all day long. So it is truly a community effort. The sheriff said something a little while ago about basically your heroes are, it's subjective to you. Who your heroes are. Well, we all have our heroes, and my department, I have a lot of heroes there. Historically, 911 people are behind the scenes. They're never seen by the public. They're only heard by the public, usually in the greatest time of emergency when people have hit rock bottom and they don't know who else to call, so they call 911. So being behind the scenes as we are, there's some people there at the 911 Center that are even more behind the scenes than the dispatchers on the front lines. And if you've ever sat in the call center and listened to those phones ring and the emergencies that come in and people's babies dying and heart attacks in progress and people's belongings going up in smoke and trying to figure out who to send out, it'll make you pull your hair out, as you can see. I probably need to stay out of there a little more than I do. But my admin folks, it's hard to recognize everyone in the department. As Scott Spencer said, it's all a group effort. It's hard to single anybody out. But today, specifically, I'm going to talk about my administrative folks. Without them wearing their many hats, and everyone at that table there wears many hats. As I go to different 911 agencies around the state in my capacity as president of the Directors Association, you walk down the hallways of people's offices and you see systems administrator office or IS coordinator or this or that, and I'm thinking, well, that's Tina, she wears those 4 hats, and then I read more, oh, that's Alicia, she wears those 12 hats. So we do so much that we have with what we have, we do so much with what we have, and that may be our worst enemy, is because we do make do with what we have, but we're going to get the job done, whatever it takes. So today I'm going to acknowledge Tina Donnell. Y'all don't have to come up, but please stand, just so I can acknowledge Tina Donnell. She's our database coordinator, does all of our any kind of mapping, any kind of CAD, anything that has to do with any kind of database at 911 Center. Deborah Gross, she's our records coordinator, records custodian. That's become a 24-hour job lately in itself. Becky Britton is back there. Becky's our training supervisor who's on the floor making sure that people are getting trained properly. And Alicia Parton Johnson couldn't be here today. We had a large class scheduled at the 911 Center that a lot of people are at currently, so I'd like to acknowledge her as well. But again, thank you for allowing Douglas County 911 to be a part of this, and I want to thank all of our user agencies that we serve, and we serve you. If you need anything, call us. We're here to serve, and it's a privilege. And that's all I have, and I hope I can wrap it up for everyone, but I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you again for having me.
Thank you, Greg. I want to personally recognize these heroes and dedicated individuals for everything they do, the tireless effort and that they put in, day out to keep our community safe. I'm gonna go off script, which always scares them. But as a kid of a sheriff for 28 years, I'll say there's been a lot of talk about heroes. Y'all's families are the heroes that put up with the dedicated service that y'all give. And I swear I didn't mean to get choked up, but it is, as a kid standing at polls, putting out cards, you never really realize what your family does, but y'all do a lot for everybody, not just your families. So go home and kiss your families and tell them how much you appreciate them, because I was one of those kids. All right, on behalf of the Chamber and our business community, I'd like to express our gratitude for your dedication and compassion. We're honored to have each of you serve in our community, and all of you are heroes to us, and thank you so much. Just a few closing comments. This is running a little bit long, but Breezy Stratton, can you come up and tell us about the angel tree while I fight back choking up? I need a hug.
Thanks, Callie. That way I didn't have to give him a hug.
It's harder for you.
It's a little harder. So I'm Breezy Stratton. I'm with the Douglas County Development Authority, but I chair YPC this year. And it's that time again for Angel Tree. I know it's just October and you're thinking, really, Christmas already? We haven't even had Halloween. But the earlier we get started, the more kids we can provide for. So this year, the two organizations, we are supporting our youth villages in our harbor, which is a residential treatment facility for youth here in Douglas County. And then also the Share House, which provides services for domestic violence victims. So what I have for you is out on the table. There are two ways to help. You can either pick a little tag, and on the back it will either have a child. So this child is a male and he's 10, and we have his exact wish list. So these are specific items he wants. Or you can pick one that's for the Share House, which are generic items. So you could do family packs or baby packs, which they need, personal care items, toiletries, diapers, lots of diapers. And then we have lists that the Share House needs on an ongoing basis. Or if you don't like to shop, you can just write us a check or provide gift cards, and we will gladly shop for you. The average donation for the child is $50, so their list is about $50, so we are asking for some type of donation in that range, but we will take whatever you have, and that will be great. Last year we were able to support 58 kids. We have about 65 this year that we need to buy for. We were able to do it last year, so I'm not worried. But just make sure you sign up. We have handy dandy donation envelopes for you to put your money in, or gift cards. You can see us, or you can see me or Sarah Ray. You can only see me till about the end of November, but then you can see Sarah, and she'll be there to help you.
She's going to disappear.
And then I'm going to disappear, and I'll be back in January. So any questions, contact Sarah at the Chamber or contact me at the Development Authority. We will be happy to assist you. Come get your donations, however, but these kids need us, so let's support them and give back. There you go.
Callie said they're holding out for a hero, so be a hero to some kids that need something. So I'm not going to take her credit. And I want to say a thanks to One Community Church for the use of their facility, to Sam and Roscoe's for the great food, and to American Red Cross for sponsoring today's luncheon, and to Greystone Power for their name and sponsorship as always. And thank you all for attending, and have a great rest of the day.